Hello, and welcome to what's going to be. This will actually be the first review on this channel as Misfits. So the Sprue, this is the Sprue Surgeon channel, but all that's happened is it's been given a name change now. So now it's Misfits plus one, and it's sort of rolled into our. The Wednesday show is still the same, it's still on the same time, everything remains the same apart from the name change and the fact that now it's affiliated with our Misfits channel that we are promoting. Obviously, if you're not a member of the Misfits channel, go and have a look. We're generating quite a bit of interest now, and we've even made it onto the big screen in some places. I can't say no more than that, but that's a bit of a bonus, an unexpected bonus, and we were totally blown away by that. But I can't say any more than that. Yeah, that's just completely thrown me this morning. That did, and. It's nothing. I make it sound like it's a big thing. It's not a big thing. It's just somebody put us on a big screen somewhere. So we were. I don't know whether it's a regular thing or not, but if it is, thank you very much. Anyway, so this is going to be our first review of sorts. So what do I mean of sorts? Of course, it's a review. That's what this is going to be. So it's quite an old kit, this, and it's been around for a long time. Let me once again, see, nothing changes. I'm so ill prepared. Give me just a second here while I bring up Scalemates. I should have done this before the beginning of the before I started the. Pardon me, the camera rolling, but I didn't. If you can hear a funny noise in the background, let's just see. If it sounds a little bit like crickets, it's the charger for the mobility scooter. It's really quite loud here, but I don't know whether it will transition through the microphone or not. So Scalemates is coming up. And this kit, I didn't buy this kit. It's not one I would have picked, but Angela picked it. She absolutely goes balmy for this. You'll see in a minute. Everything will become clear in just a second. She wanted to name our child after this, our first child, which is Cass. But I actually had to say, no, you can't do that. It's just not fair. Right, here we go. And I've just got to find out, there's so many versions of this come out. And it's just finding the right one. With the right box art. Wow, there really has been. Okay, I think I've found it. Yeah, that's the one. Right, and so I'll try and give you a clue. This car, it's a car, and this is going to probably give it away. It's a 1982 Pontiac Firebird. Does that give you any idea? I'm just looking at the history now, just trying to find the history. Oh, there's not much history at all. Oh, well, let's go to full history. I'm going to show you what it is while that's loading up. So it's the Knight Rider car. Angela's a big fan of this, so much so, as I say, she wanted to name our daughter Kit after the onboard computer. No, that wasn't going to happen. But she was very young back then, although I still think she'd do it now, given half the chance. But thankfully my daughter's grateful to me that I managed to stop that. And we're just loading up the full history. It doesn't appear to be that much actually, I'm surprised. Right, well this is a bit bizarre, there's nothing there at the moment. There should be, I'm sure this is an old kit. But if you know, if any of you guys know anything, then you can put the information down in the comments below. I'm showing nothing for this, so I really don't know. There's so many of them out there. It's got to be some form of history on it somewhere, but we're not showing anything. So anyway, I got this from the model shop in Northampton at so that's 230 Wellingborough Road, Northampton, and I paid £30.99. Well, she paid £30.99 for it. It's made by MPC. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to drop the camera down. Drop the camera down so we can have a proper look at it. And so there we have it. We'll just do the box art quickly. We've got Knight Rider. You can see it's still wrapped up and everything. Michael Knight. Just basic stuff all the way around. There's, I guess they're the decals in there, just showing over here on the top, and you know, same sort of thing. Little bit on the bottom, sprues and warning, and that's about it really. So I'm just going to try and come along and cut through because I don't want to damage the box. Not this early because I'm not ready to build this yet. Now I tell you what I do need, if anybody can help in any way. I want to make the front red sensor, you know, on the car where it goes sort of scopes backward and forwards. I want to have that working, so I want some actual LED to go in there. That's like a primary. That's something that primary needs doing. It's quite important that I get that done. Secondary is if I could get the kit's voice somehow inside, so that every now and then it said a phrase, or even if you pushed a button underneath or something like that, that would be quite cool for her. So one of the first things I noticed is this is quite the cardboard's different than the box is made of. It feels a lot more flimsier than normal. I don't know whether that's a thing with MPC. It's not the glossy sort of box you get with Tamiya and such like. It's a very thin card actually. It's only made thicker by the fact that it's doubled over a bit inside. So and then of course we've got everything bagged up in its separate bags inside, which is good. A little decal sheet, a very little decal sheet in there. Is that a mask? Now, are they masks or is it? I don't know. Not sure, I'd have to look into that, but they look like masks. Let's flip this back up, drop them in there. So we'll have a quick look at the instructions. Doesn't appear to be much in the way of instructions. So we have got an engine going together. Steps 1, let's bring this down so I don't forget. Just need to there we go. Let me just bring that light down a bit. So we've got engines going in 1 and 2 and 3. We've got the various peripherals going on. Manifolds, just basically air filters, oil filters, stuff like that. In 4 we've got what appear to be like a twin carburetor system going on with an air filter on the top, and then we come down to 5. We've got the timing belts and fan, and then we go over to 6 where we start the suspensions. 7 we move on to the rear suspension and exhaust by the looks of it, and 8 we start putting the tyres together, wheels and tyres. 9 engine goes into the bottom of the floor well where it sits. More bits and bobs going on underneath on 10, and then 11 more suspension and steering, and 12 sees us moving into the cockpit. 13 more cockpit seats, etc. 14 more engine detail. There's quite a lot of engine detail in this. You've got your water bottle and your expansion tank going on there as well. So yeah, there's quite a bit to do. Right, fan housing. So there's quite a bit of detail on the engine, which will be a shame if you can't lift the bonnet up. That might need me to revisit Mr. Mini Dreams, Steve's, David, sorry, don't know where I got Steve from, David's channel, where he covers building, or has covered being able to put in bonnets and that. So I may well have to revisit that and look into that further. And then we've got obviously the front section going on there. Then we've got the glass going in, and I believe there's 2 types for this. You can either have clear or you can have the tinted version. So I'm not sure which I'll go with. It'll be up to Angela, but I'm pretty sure she's going to say tinted. And then the tub goes onto the bottom platform there, and the housing comes down on the roof and that. Spoiler on the back, the red transparent brake light, is it, along the back? And then we've got the front bumper bonnet saying do not glue, so that's interesting. There's obviously, we've got 2 numbers here, number 2 and number 78. They're both different, so we'll have to look at that. I don't know what that's about. They're slightly different. Yeah. And then we've got side exhaust coming on there. Plenty of, considering it's just black, look at all these colours. So we've got black, flat black, semi-gloss black, white, flat white, silver, chrome, aluminium, steel, brass, gold, amber, transparent amber, red, transparent red, orange, yellow, tan, brown, light blue, medium blue, dark blue, transparent blue, light green, dark green, grey, purple, pink, body colour, semi-gloss, gloss and metallic. The car's black. I mean, yeah, the rest, I can't imagine why there's all them colours. But I tell you what, I can imagine why there's all them colours. You know, it's just the nature that you know, it goes into the engine parts, and the expansion tank's probably got a whitish colour to it. One of the lids is probably yellow. You know, that's how it is. But they have to list all them colours. So I'm just hoping that my microphone is actually set up right for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it before we go on to the main bit, and because I need to really go and check that this is recording sound. I've got a horrible feeling, because I bought a new microphone recently. Let me just show you. I got the Blue Pro Snowball, is it, or Snowball Pro? I don't know. Anyway, and it works brilliantly. It's a fantastic bit of kit, but I've never used it on this app before, and I don't know whether I selected it in the settings. So I may be doing this and recording no sound. So I'll be back in a minute. Right then, so everything's okay. We're recording fine. That was good. And let's get on with this review. So first of all, let's have a look at the car itself. As I say, I've got no idea of so we'll look at the bodywork first. I just want to come under a little bit there, so make sure we've got plenty of light on this bodywork. So we've got a little bit of clean up to do, especially along the bottom there. Not the greatest plastic. What am I basing that on? Well, I don't really know how to, it just feels cheap. I don't know if that's even a proper remark, but it's we haven't got much in the way of flash. I've got a few sharp edges. I mean, they're all going to need going around very lightly to remove them. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. We've got little emblems sort of marked in, which is quite good. They've been so they don't have to go on as you could perhaps, you know, if you see it says turbo there, and we've got the little Pontiac sign on the side there, and you know, it says remove on pieces of plastic, you know, that have got to come off. So let me just is it not gonna do it? There it is. Yeah. See, it says remove on there, and then you've got this. No, I don't think that it's cheap. I think it's I mean, this brace in this front that they've got you to remove, it's not a sprue gate rather than a sprue wall. I mean, look how much you've got to chop through to cut that off. I mean, this is not it's not a first world problem, but you know, it's, if you're not very if you're very new to this, you could easily cause damage there, and this feels like the sort of plastic that will maybe splinter and crack. So, you know, when you cut through joins like this, you inevitably put them under stress, and you know, this, if there's a weak area somewhere in here, cutting through this is going to be what breaks it. So I would suggest cutting through it very slowly with a knife, or maybe a saw a little bit away from the edge, and then come back with a file. I don't know, till I do it myself, I really wouldn't know, but if you've got a really sharp pair of sprue cutters, you might be okay. It doesn't seem to be that thick. It's quite flexible there, so it might not be too bad, but I still think that's far too much, you know, there to cut through. And then we've got, I don't know whether that's a poor line there. I don't, what is that? Is that a, because it's not that side. I'm just going to show you this because I don't know whether that's meant to be there or not. So we're looking here, and there we go, if you see it there, there's a, come on, there you go. I'm going to try and bring this up just a little bit so that I can better show you what were the areas I'm on about. Right, so let me find it again. So we're looking here, yeah, you can see it better now, and you see that it almost looks like it's a chip. There's a bit been cut out of it, but it feels as though it's there from the mould. It doesn't feel like it's broken off afterwards. Now, at first I thought it was part of it, but there's not one this side, so I'm not sure. Maybe if anybody else has got this kit, they could have a look and tell me whether it's there on theirs as well. So it's got some horrible stuff on the inside, which isn't really a problem, but it's just a bit of a niggle really. And then we come to the interior. Now the interior's, in a word, awful, in my opinion. They've got this, now I think this is meant to be texture for the carpet or whatever, but we've got moulded in foot pedals, which I'm not keen on for a start, and we've got EPMs all over the inside, all over. How much of them can be seen when it's together remains to be seen. I doubt we'd see these two, although if you're looking in and down you may well see them. I think they're going to have to go, them two possibly. Not sure about these yet, but once you take them away, you're going to be left with, you're going to have to get rid of all this texture then, because otherwise you're going to have smooth bits where you've removed that. Or even if you fill it, if you get a thin piece of styrene sheet and just fill it, either way you're going to have to either smooth it all out or try and redo that bit of texture there, or if I'm lucky none of it can be seen, and then I may just get away with leaving it. So I've got some options open to me. I'm not sure which ones will happen yet. There's a date on the bottom, so this was actually, says 19th of the 7th 2017, yet underneath it's Pontiac Firebird, used under license 2014, round 2 LLC, round two, yeah. So that's that. And then we come to the base, the proper bottom, and again this has got that rough texture on underneath. So I think this must be there. I think this must be actually there on purpose, rather than it being a cheap. At first I thought it was just cheap plastic, but I think it's actually there by design. And if that's the case, that's quite smart. But again, it just doesn't feel, I don't know, people are going to sound being stupid, but it just doesn't feel great. But we'll see. It will look great, hopefully, when it's finished. I've been told it's got to look great. If it doesn't look great, I'm in trouble, because she's seen some of my other builds. So then we've got the chrome work. Let's have a look at the chrome work. Of course, this will be bleached or dettelled or whatever your favourite method is. So we've got two sets of wheels here to try by the looks of it. And that's what it looks like. So yeah, these are far too shiny. Yeah, you can see where they've dipped them in chrome, and we've got some flash on these by the looks of it, especially on these. I'm guessing these are going to be indicators of some sort. My problem with them is they were probably the right size when they were cast and come out of the what's it machine, CNC machine, but it looks like it's got a thick layer of chrome paint over it, or chrome coating, whatever they use, and it's actually just sort of flood filled some of the details and made it look a bit shonky. So there's some of that where it's just literally, I don't know, been dunked in this chrome. And there's the light. There's these rear lights where I think we've got a bit of flash or extra material on the edges that we're not supposed to have. And again, it looks to me like some of the detail's been lost. You can see it. If you just move it backwards and forwards, you can see the faint lines on there. But basically, too much chrome's gone on, and it's flooded the in-between where the detail is. Well, that's what it looks like anyway. Yeah, definitely got to be redone without a shadow of a doubt. And then we've got front seats. Front seats. Bonnet. Now there's the under bonnet that we were looking at in that drawing. So that's number one that goes on. That goes on the first, and there's a part there. And again, that's got that awful bloody APMs underneath again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that. You've got the radiator, EPMs on that. 1, 2, oh dear, and it's destroyed the detail on the I don't know if you can see that. Can't, there we go, in the two corners there. It's totally destroyed the detail on the radiator. Not much in the way of flash, but everything else. A little bit there maybe. I've certainly seen far better. We got a little bit of flash on the end here now. Flash coming up on the end of I don't know if you can see it there. Come on. Here we come. There we go. That's my phone. Excuse me. Right. Yeah, so I don't know what this is. A battery. Yeah, this is a battery. Very, very poor battery. I think it's not very crisp mould or anything on it. In fact, it's totally wonky on the dimensions. And maybe needs sanding, sort of straight. Put that one back and that one back. I mean, given its price at the moment, it's a bit disappointing, the quality of it. Again, now we've got some of these center consoles. The fan, the blades will need cleaning up. They are shoddy. They've got flash. They're going to be difficult to paint because the moulding is not very crisp. It's very soft. I don't know what else to say really. I'll show you the fan if I can, if it will. There's the fan. I hope you can manage to see some of that flash that I'm on about. It's only a small amount. You can see it more from the rear, I think. This is the soft moulding that I'm on about more than. Let me just try and get. It's the lighting I need. I don't know if you can see there. It's, to me, that just looks soft. Where these nuts and bolts are on the back of the. Some of the consoles, they're not too bad. The buttons are okay. They're not in straight lines though. I mean, if this was a real car, you would expect, especially on these consoles where there's lots of buttons, you would expect the buttons to be correctly spaced and so on and so forth, where they're not. Just trying to get it into focus again. No, there we go. No, it's not having any of it. We're getting it a little bit when we move from there, from section to section. But not great. Right, bumpers. Now the front bumper has Night 2000 emblazoned on it, and the rear number plate is also sort of printed on it. I don't know, I think I would have preferred a decal for the rear number plate. I think that's going to be a real pain to try and paint that in the Californian style number plate. That's going to be a real pain. But we'll wait and see. I think there's a decal, I'm not certain. Come on. Well, it really doesn't want to play ball. There we go. There we go. And then there's the front. Not brilliant. Now we've got the main console. Let me just have a quick look at this. And again, it's soft. I don't know whether... I really need to see what this... I need to look at the decals first and then see... you know, just let me just show you it quickly. So... And then if we go, so we go around just to look on that part of it. And we look in here now, you couldn't quite see that. We've got two sort of TV units there. It's a tough one, this. I don't. Let's just have a quick look at the seats. There is damage to each of the seats. Only one of the seats has got these. They almost look like cat scratches. And I'm just going to try and... Now it's down the bottom there, so the bottom, let me try and get something I can point with. Oh, so we're looking here, you can see them, these three scratches or whatever, whether it's contamination in the moulding process. And then again, let me just find them. There's some up near the top there and across there. They're not on the other side. Oh, sorry, they are. There are some. They almost look like dog hairs that have got into the... You know, I'm not sure whether this is supposed to be... It almost looks like it's supposed to... They're meant to be there, because over on this one, they've done a better job of them. And you can see on the base here, it's almost meant to represent wrinkled fabric. Well, it sort of works on this one, but on here, it looks very poorly executed. I can't remember the car. I don't think it had cloth. Did it have cloth seats? I don't know. I'm not very greatly impressed, I must admit. As I say, there are so many cars out there that have got such a much better kit for less money a lot of the times. But having said that, I normally love taking on these kits that everybody says are rubbish or poor, that they can't be done, you won't be able to do anything with them. I normally like to take that as a challenge. Oh dear, didn't see that in the top corner. I've created some more work for myself now. Well done, Mark. This had slipped to the top corner of the bag, and I've just gone along with my scalpel, and I think you might see that I've put a little nick in that top corner there, or bottom corner, whichever way it's coming up on your screen. You can see it right there. I shouldn't need to point it out, but in case you're sort of looking at the screen going, which side we're talking about there. Only it's not gonna you're not gonna focus now, are you? Anyway, I'm not wasting time. I'm spending half an hour trying to focus on that. It was actually in a separate section, and I feel so annoyed that I've done that. So we come over here, we've got the second bonnet section now, which once again has these horrible closed in vents, where when I say closed in, I mean there is no vent, it's just an effect. Now I had that happen with another car that I built, but I did open them up. I don't know whether I'll be able to with this because they're so small, but I may be able to with a drill, a very small drill. I may be able to do that. So mainly on this we've got steering and suspension components, and there is lots of flash on here. Small amounts, but lots of it. What I mean by that is there's only a small amount of flash on each component, but taken on the whole, there's so if it's going to let me, let's come in. So there we go. Come and turn that around there. Mind you, the springs don't look too bad. The flash doesn't look too bad on this camera, but trust me, I can see it. I'm just trying to find the best way of showing it. Seam lines are really quite bad. They're going to take a lot of doing. And I mean, there's this one. I think it's just that you're not close enough to. So there we go. You can see on that one there's flash all the way. All the way around. just take some it's frustrating. It's gonna take I'll tell you what, when this car's built and it's sat on the shelf and it's looking great, it's one of those you're gonna say, God, that fought me, but damn, that's a nice build. It's going to be well worth your hard work and effort when you've got it built up, or it will end up thrown against the wall in a fit of rage. Damn EPN marks. So I'll just show you them. EPM. So I'm not even going to point them out. You can see them. They're over everything. Don't know about that thin piece at the front. Are they on that? Can't see them on the front of that one, so we might be lucky on that. Unless that's EPM marks there and they're not location pins as I first thought. And then we've got more engine detail. This is main engine stuff now. All engine stuff, in fact. I think they have attempted to give a different texture to different parts of the engine, which is, you know, I don't think I've seen it done quite this way before, but you can see that there's this different texture, which I normally achieve by using different blacks. Like I will use a gloss black primer and a black matte primer, and then I might use a steel on one piece and metal on another, and I just use different types of the same paint. So what I mean by that is, if obviously it calls for gloss black, no, sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here by myself. What I mean is, on an engine, if it calls for black, then I will use a gloss black, a matte black, a semi-gloss black, and when you put them all together like that, you get quite a strange multi material sort of look, which is exactly what, you know, I'm aiming for. And I think that looks great, because if you look at a real engine, the rubbers are matte black. You might have a metal black shiny cover over something, and then, you know, there might be a surface that's got some oil over it and it's sort of like a satiny sheen to it, and you know, that's great. So that's how I normally achieve these looks, and they've tried to do something similar with the moulding process. And then again on here you can see that they've tried to do the same. And again, it's not, you know, it is what it is. As regards price, everywhere I've looked, £30 does seem to be about the average price for it. There's not many that go above that, and you can get, I guess you can order this in from eBay. To be honest, I normally buy all my stuff through Mike Jolly. It's just I was up buying some glue that I needed quite urgently, and Angela saw this there and she's been after it for so long that on a whim I decided she deserved it, as you know, I could make it for her. She does put up with a lot. She puts up with me for a start. And we've got a nice tread on the tyres. Nice tread. There's no seam line, which is great. If only. Oh, and we've got some. We've got the name emblazoned on the side. So BF Goodridge. Yeah, radial TA Goodridge. Yes, they are. That is. Let's get one out so we can show you. I've got to say, that is very good. I'm impressed with that. So they're a soft rubber, and then let's see if we can. I think you saw it straight away there for a minute. There it was in focus. So we've got Goodridge, BF Goodridge radial TA. I think that's on both sides. Let's now bring that one down. Oh, yeah, and there's the tread, and they're all the same. So there's no seam line to get rid of, which is very good because they're a pain in the arse to get rid of on these rubber tyres. Seam lines, they make such a mess. So yes, very impressed with that. Here we come to the decals. Now I'm hoping there's a number plate in here, because this is the first time I'd go with the decal, I think, over the detail. Now let's, and I don't know whether there's a mask in here. Is that a mask, or is that just a piece of soft paper? No, it's not a mask. I thought it was a mask, but it's not. Is that gum though? Are they saying that you could? I don't know. Let's have a look. So we've got, yes, we've got the number plates, which is great. And sadly, the front LED is just a decal, which is a huge disappointment. I want to get some real LED action on that, and you know, and then we've got the interior pieces. Now I think, unless there's a resin sort of cockpit dashboard for this, and I'm not sure, I think I would have to go with the decals over the detail, because the detail is not very good. But we'll wait and see. This is not something that I'm going to rush into. I want to make sure I've got everything I need first, and then it'll probably be a side kit that I will do alongside other stuff. Now the other good thing about this is we've got two sets of windows. We've got the clear ones and the tinted ones. Now I'm almost certain she's going to say tinted. Now we've got a bit of flash on the tint, and again they've got this awful method of connecting the. Let's get one out. I'm going to crack out the clear one purely because it doesn't matter too much if that one gets any damage to it, because I'm not going to be using it. It doesn't mean I want it to get damaged, but they've got this awful method of connecting. No, I don't like that at all. It's clean, These are the roof sections, which apparently you can have these so that they lift out or stay in. I'm looking through and I already know what this is going to show up, but here we go. It's okay close up. Close up, it's clean enough to look through. The minute you start coming away from the paper, let me try and get it so that it's on the smaller glass, it distorts heavily. Not too bad on the bigger glass, you know. It's not the best I've seen, but it's not the worst. And let's face it, most of you are going to be looking in at that sort of distance, which is not too bad when you get up close. So, you know, I'd say about 50%, you know, in terms of how good it is compared to everywhere else. It's and I think, yeah, that's it. So, quick thoughts on that. Not the greatest kit, not the worst kit, but not far off the worst kit I've ever seen. No, it's quite a way off the worst kit I've ever seen. That honour still remains with Lindbergh. I forget, I think it was a Sabre dog jet plane, and it was shocking. Still gives me nightmares now thinking about it. So anyway, that's it. Knight Rider, self-made millionaire. Is that what it used to say? And I will keep you up to date when I start putting it together and building it, and see what you all think. And give me your details, comments below if any of you have built this, what it turns out like. If you've got any advice or you know, anything like that, just let us know, and that would be great. Don't forget to keep tuning in every Wednesday evening for the live premiere show of the day. Sorry, and yeah, there's not a lot else I can say. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.